Woody Allen, Melancholy. Who are you, Woody Allen? You made me laugh and dream. You were a nice uncle. You had quirks and weaknesses. You were just likable. And yet I lost you. 1985, I was 20 years old. The movies of Woody Allen always had something like buoyant, melancholic, blue, sensitive, dreamy, non-chromatic. The early comedies were nice and funny, but that it would not be. For me, Allen began with Annie Hall and found his absolute peak in Manhattan. Never Merrill Hemingway was more beautiful, actually only in this film. I never had more yearnings to live in the city, like now in LA, or yet again and why? Brooklyn. There, where as it seems, they all have lived once. Palms and skyscrapers, black and white, last thing. It all seems to make sense when he fights his way through the tribulations of his films, and the tribulations of life, and the tribulations of feelings. How much this film struck me in the spell. Now I can admit to myself that I envied him. Envied that he could give such a wonderful expression to his feelings. Manhattan, his city, just black and white, jazz, singer, collection, innocence. Just a bit of confidence. Is it so difficult? And then there was the Broadway Danny Rose. I immediately fell in love with him. Of course, I saw myself in him. The world of art, not very great art, art as it is, small, often almost laughable, loving, chaotic. And yet there is still someone who remembers you, Danny Rose, yes, Danny Rose. Even then I dreamed of to be him, in his loving failure, in his deeply human existence. And his wonderful Shakespeare film adaptation, Words. Bernardo Bertolucci, Desire. Who are you, Bernardo Bertolucci? Do you belong over here at all? I think just because of Maria and mainly because of Dominique. The last movie I was interested in was filmed by you in 1981. 1981, I was 16 years old. The movies of Bernardo Bertolucci always had something. He was always somewhat suspect, unsympathetic, disliked him. His later films, Eva Green. The early films, in part classics of Italian cinema, but then two films. Last Tango in Paris, Maria Schneider. She seems like a counterpoint to many other actresses. Brando, plot. Not that I had been in love with Maria Schneider, that I was in other actresses. But she had something unaffected, something real. She was like an older sister who reveals very special things to one. 1900. Dominique Sanda. I'm not sure which was the first movie I saw with her. Her beauty she revealed in all. But here she seemed like a supernatural dream figure, a creature that could not be of this world, too perfect, simply beautiful. When she lies in a hay in front of the young naked Robert De Niro, also naked, then I wanted to be him. I would wish I could look at her in real, not on the screen. Her face and her smile, completely naked or dressed, as a young girl, or even more so thereafter. I never saw a woman nearly as beautiful. I would wish she had given me a smile once, as well as Catherine James. Pier Paolo Pasolini, Pleasure. Who are you, Pier Paolo Pasolini? Peter Paul, your life, your dying, riddles. The movies of Pier Paolo Pasolini always had something disturbing, something that barked the boy into turmoil, occupied him, not let go. 1975, I was 10 years old. His movies fall in two categories for me. On the one hand, the social critical, the classic movies, movies much can be said about. On the other hand, the other movies, especially the movies in recent years. The Decameron, the Canterbury Tales, and 1001 Nights. Will he do justice to the works? Does it matter? Young actresses and especially actors, lay people, for what audience? Why? To see his latest movie was very difficult, at times without internet. A movie even Arte does not broadcast, a television station that otherwise quite well screen movies as the above. I knew some excerpts, a documentary, but when I saw the movie for the first time entirely, I do not remember. It was early in no case, as I knew the book already. But I would like to see it earlier. Kurtz, were they not much more brutal? And the book? Who I would have been, which of the three sons, which of the four men? Ken Russell, Provocation. Who are you, Ken Russell? Psyched, overexcited, eccentric, provocative. Religion, sex, violence. Your films cast a spell over me. Your characters broke out, did not abide by standards, and paid their price. Tchaikovsky, Mahler, Liszt. Do I have to say how they affect me? It was late. I lost sight of you. 1990. I was 25 years old. The movies of Ken Russell always had something arousing, sexually arousing. His female characters were so different as in the works of Romero or Truffaut. In the works of Scorsese or Coppola there were none. Lust and lustfulness, except between two women. He confused me deeply, deeper than a Borovichik or Brass ever could have done. Their films were distinct what it was, intention, characters, representation, actresses. Admitted exciting, but at the same time boring, predictable. His films, fucking crazy. Was it this that fascinated me so much? Confused my feelings, exciting, appealing, exhilarating, repulsive, indescribably confusing. They caused a storm of emotions. I no longer saw me looking at a naked young woman, Teresa in Savoy, but I became an actor. I tortured and was tortured. I fucked and was fucked. I loved a woman and was a woman who was loved. Strange thoughts. I became a composer, intoxicated by the sonority, to the tones and the magic of madness. In Gothic, I lost myself in the depth of the mind, of my mind. And when the films were over, I was sitting alone in front of the screen and dreamed, once, only once, to experience such a moment, not in reflection, but in own creation, not in affection towards another actress as an actress, but strange thoughts. Ingmar Bergman, Confusion. Who are you, Ingmar Bergman? Faith never played a role for me. Like the great conductor, you seemed to me always. When I see you on a photography, I would like that it would be one of me. Like you, I liked to see me, always dreamed of, to be like you. Movies, theater, always the senseless dreams. The movies of Ingmar Bergman always had something feminine, powerful, disturbing, impressive, fell for his actresses. They were the ones who made up the movies for me. They were the ones who touched me, except for Wild Strawberries. Even then, 1982, I was 17 years old. It always were the female characters, the actresses, that determined his films for me. Just Wild Strawberries was an exception. The Old Man was an exception. Perhaps the grandfather I never had. It seemed unfair to me to mention a name, to favor a film, apart from Fanny Alexander. I loved the quiet in his movies, not constantly with music underlaid scenes, long shots, time, in which something could develop, movies which confused me, inspired. Kurosawa, both seemed like twins in different worlds to me. The quiet, the silence, so much does it say, so much does it hold. An image has burned itself. Gladly I would be the boy. The Swedish Post has immortalized it. I have written that the fairest of the women her face is. The faces of his actresses told so much. I was addicted to these faces, wanted to touch them gently, feel them, those who let me feel so much. Who shot the more beautiful film, Woody Allen or Ingmar Bergman? It's like when you look at a city from two complete different angles. Can it be both together? You have to decide. Fanny and Alexander. I drowned into this film, like I never drowned into my own childhood. At the time before, I have no memories at all. At a time in between, almost none. At a time after, only disappointing. I almost have the feeling that I woke up slowly sometime, perceived single images blurred and then more clear, in order to wake up at the age around 13, to determine how dreary the world is, which now revealed, in order to, not too much later, to begin to proceed in the state, to allow no more development, inside. Outward to become more and more fatter. So gladly I would have been funny. Thank you for listening.